nawapea the outline, whatever that is supposed to be covered, then niwapatie notes nitaprepare. I send them to the classroom, then awatumie notes, okay? Maybe a takeaway card. So we agreed not to general introduction to language and linguistics.
Introduction to general linguistics.
Very general linguistics and language. PLLE.
PLLE 0173.
0173. Hiyo.
Niko na hii. Hii ndio tunafanya sisi. Niko na K ndio ya
Kuna the other one ile sijui ya 02 something.
Introduction to language acquisition.
Kuna 02 something.
Language acquisition.
Yeah, language acquisition.
Hiyo ndio tunafanya. Hiyo ni 02
general introduction to 0173.
Introduction to general
So hiyo ingine pia I will prepare the notes mtume pia hiyo ya ni language acquisition. Yeah. So generally ndio tutaanza na hiyo introduction to linguistics. So we are going to look at definition here, what is linguistics and what is language. So part of the notes in Tatuma utakuwa na that, what is linguistics, and then what is language. Then we are going to look at properties of language, human language, properties of human language, okay? Which now in the properties of human language, we are going to differentiate them from animals, okay? Yes. Yeah, where maybe we say something like human language is dynamic, instinctive, it is there's productivity, there's discreteness, it is made of a system evil. Now where we are going to differentiate it now to say the other one, we don't know if we call it animal language or just animal communication, okay? Yeah, because so kwa hizo notes kutakuwa na that part, yeah, the properties of language, okay? Then of course you are going to because yote mnafanya English.
Yes.
Ndio?
Yeah. Ili sisi wote ni kwa wengine kuna wanafunzi. Sasa hii English ni yao tu na wengine wawili. So they will be four. Also four before. I was taking English. Taking Kiswahili.
So for okay, so after comparing the properties of language, we'll also look at now.
Hata sisi nimeshafanya exam.
Yeah, I remember tulifanya the other one.
Kiswahili. I teach Kiswahili shule.
Yeah, so this time tutakuja tuangalie pia issues after the properties of language. Tuangalie, okay, because it's in relation to general linguistics, lazima tutagusia something small about language acquisition. Okay? Yeah, something small about that language acquisition. There are some experiments that were done. The people who said that that there are some animals which can be taught language na washike language. You see, so there are some experiments that itapatia notes which discussed about some animals that were given, like that baboon, there's that kasuku, and of course with the person also utaona why they were not able to acquire that language. Okay, yeah, why they were not able to acquire the language. Then also we'll look at something that is called critical period in language acquisition, whereby tunasema when mtoto akipita some stage kama hajakuwa exposed to some language, then it becomes difficult for that person akianza kuexposiwa language, okay? Because okay, acquisition of language starts from mtoto akiwa very young. hivyo. So there's a stage inaitwa critical stage. When mtoto akipita hapo kama hajapewa any input, because in language acquisition there's usually so much what we call input. There must be input from the environment where the child now will learn the language pole hivyo. So when that mtoto, there's that girl when you that critical, inaitwa the critical hypothesis, alipita that critical stage akiwa hajakuwa exposed to any data. So after that mtu akipita maybe like after 6 years, mtoto akiwa hajapewa any data, hajawahi interact na any human being language. So after 6 years or something, if you start giving that child now into their language, will he be able to develop grammar kama wengine? Do of course grammar wa mtu anaanza kudevelop on language, somebody starts developing before even afika 1 year. Yeah, the effective age is 0 to 3 years. So that means after 3 years, kama mtu hajaanza ku learn language, then you know there is a problem. Okay, yeah. Of course, we're going to also look at the difference between, okay, we're going to look at sign language as an sign language as a form of language, because it appears that sign language, it has its own meaning, it has its own grammar. Okay, there's a way that wanna communicate where they know that this is a C, this is a okay. So it means that it has its own grammar. Okay. Then of course we are going to look at the difference between spoken and written language. Okay, spoken and written language, because we know as things here, we don't start with written language, we start with spoken. Okay. So somebody mtoto wanaintroduce to spoken language, then later wanakuja sasa kuambiwa sasa this thing that you are speaking ni hizi. That is why in Kiswahili and English huwa tunaanza na listening, speaking, reading, then finally writing, because writing is usually the most advanced skill. Yeah, so we are going to look at all those skills now: listening, speaking, reading, then finally writing, and finally writing. And of course, okay, I thought ni watu English peke yake, nilikuwa nasema tutaingia kwa story na phonetics kidogo. But of course the phonetics hatuwezi ingia na watu wa Kiswahili, because in phonetics, that is the consonants and vowels, the English and Kiswahili, they are different. Okay?
Na hizo iko kwa education general linguistics.
Yeah, unajua inafaa kukua, unajua mlifanya phonetics and phonology?
Tulifanya.
Phonetics and phonology.
Okay.
Na watu wa English pia mlifanya phonetics and phonology.
Hiyo vitu tulifanya na wengine tukafunzwa na database. Sasa hizi 6 areas are the only ones to be covered. Only this.
Yeah.
Hata saa hii unaweza tupitia ya hawa tukiwa pamoja.
You say those are the 6
Hizi zilikwenda kusoma tu.
Okay, I will give you the notes, detailed notes. So hizo vitu zote zenye ziko. Sasa ni vile hizi units they somehow like overlap. No. They look like the same. Ukiangalia na the unit that I taught you in first year, the only that unit yao ya language acquisition,
communication.
So that they overlap. So yawa ya nini language acquisition sasa itakuwa different. Because for that is 273. Yes, that is for language acquisition. So language acquisition itakuwa a bit, so hiyo tutaingia mostly now into language acquisition. No. So
0273 0271
271.
Yes, kama Kiswahili.
Yeah, Kiswahili.
Yote ni 0271.
Yeye Kiswahili inaitwa
PLLK 0271. Upataje lugha?
Which is usually, so for hapo what tunaangalia mostly tuna differentiate between language acquisition, behaviorists and mentalists. behaviorist ni wale wana believe that we acquire a language through forming a behavior. In education or psychology, mmesoma about the Pavlov dog, the Ivan Pavlov dog. Yeah. So the behaviorists wana believe pia we acquire language that way. Okay? We acquire language by cramming. We cram the meaning. We cram the sounds. We cram the vowels, the consonants, the rules. So when somebody tells you unakumbuka kitu define, so they say that okay, those walikuwa watu wa zamani walikuwa wanasema hivyo that we acquire language through cramming or through forming a behavior. But now the mentalist from Chomsky, Noam Chomsky akuja akasema the language is a product or is a function of the mind. When a child is born, because according to behaviorists wanasema a Chinese child is born a Chinese child. Okay? So akizaliwa, that child ako predisposed kupata Chinese. Unaona? But the mentalists wakuja wakasema language acquisition is property of the mind. So when a child is born, the brain is usually empty, like an empty CD. Okay? Yeah. Ile waliita tabula rasa, like an empty CD. So that means ukichukua mtoto from here Kikuyu amezaliwa for one day umpeleke China, huyo mtoto hata learn Chinese. Not hata learn Kikuyu. He will learn the language that he is exposed to. Okay? So wakarudia wakasema hii aspect ya productivity and dynamism of language, where language changes. Leo when you are borrowing a pen from a friend, utamuomba ile simple like ile nisije na kalamu, okay? Kesho utamwambia can I have one of your pens? The other day, so language changes. So Chomsky alisema we learn the rules of the language, then we use those rules, we apply them. Okay? That's why when a child is being exposed to language, maybe atajua that for the plural you have to add an S. Okay? For the plural you have to add an S. So before asome that there are some other irregular, that person ukimwambia man anakwambia man. Okay? Because anajua regular. S is that S. Pia amesoma all plurals must have S. All past tense must have ed. Okay, yeah. So in that one, tunaenda kuangalia something that we call it's a morpheme order. It's a morpheme order. Okay, where it has been proven already that kuna venye there are some 8 morphemes that a child learns in an order. Like huwezi pata mtu amesoma the plural before the past tense. No. So there's that morpheme order that I kwa notes utaziona where mtoto ataanza ku learn hii, learn hii, hivyo akienda. So no, plural kwanza hivyo. take L2. Okay? How does L1 take L2? Kuna zinaitangwa positive transfer and negative transfer. Positive transfer is whereby, of course, you know, a noun is Kikuyu, a noun is Swahili, a noun is Chinese, it will be the same. Okay? But word order. English, when a father subject verb order SB. Some other languages they follow, they start with the verb. So unapata mtu the L1 yake ni ya maybe inaanza na verb then subject. Na hii L2, the L2 yenye anasoma ni hizi sasa ni SB. So unapata mwanafunzi he transfers the knowledge he knows in L1 and he transfers over to L2. So that's where we start already discussing an idea. No, in English, you don't say maybe something like go John. You say John go. Okay? Something like that. So that's what we call the language transfer from L1 to L2. Because L1 usually plays a very big role. Okay? A very big role in acquiring an L2. Then of course we're going to look at in a monitor hypothesis. kama unajua language vizuri, there is a way you are going to use it for what you like, because you know they do vizuri. So one thing you are going to do, you are going to avoid using it. Okay? Or you use it very easily because of the do vizuri. So when somebody comes, akiongea, unaongea kidogo, you have to correct. Okay? Okay. So that one, inakwanga kwa hiyo monitor hypothesis. Where you monitor what you say. Yeah, so now you're asking because yeah, because unajua vile tabia angejako si wanajua wewe sio wako. Naona. So kwa hii monitor hypothesis tunakwanga na number of them. Tunakwanga tunaita filter. Where before you speak, you filter what you want to say. Like when you speak a child, you use that to filter, okay? You want child in here and then so language you use that way. So when you are speaking, what you do, you filter. You have monitor over user and monitor under user. So over user needed, like you criticize everyone that you speak. Unaona hii nimeongea vibaya, hii nimeongea vizuri, hivyo hivyo. So that is what when somebody is learning to anatumia hiyo. He uses that one and to make sure that before you say a word, I want to speak this person, but yeye ni wa hivi. So ukiongea hivi atanicheka, then ukiongea vizuri. So anaongea kidogo ama anajicorrect mwenyewe. So where the place where you go to a point where you speak a language but you correct yourself. Unajua hapa nimeongea vibaya, so you correct yourself. Okay? So language acquisition usually involves that one. How you acquire L1, how L1 affects you, because most of the time in L2 inakuanga na motivation. Okay? L2 there is usually motivation. Like for now ukiambiwa you have to learn French in 3 months ndio uende France. You will learn it because you want to go to France, okay? Kuna motivation, but for a child hakuna motivation, okay? Maybe motivation is there, he wants to speak with others. But for L2 kuna kwanga a lot of motivation. Or maybe because in your schools unaambia wanafunzi hakuna kuongea Kiswahili Monday to Thursday, English alone. So that person is either learning English ama for those 4 days he stays quiet. Okay? So that one of course it's not a reward, it's a punishment, but of course that is a motivation yake atajua. For me, ni communicate na wenzangu, I have to learn English. Okay? Yeah. So in language acquisition we just look at that L1 and L2. The difference between acquiring a language and learning a language. How does L1 affect L2 in terms of language acquisition? Okay. Then of course our what were behaviorist and mentalist. How do they differ in terms of acquiring that language? Because that person who believes we cram, it means that since we were young, we must have crammed a lot of rules, okay? To cram a lot of language. Because for now, we can use language in different ways. You know, for animals, they use language like the same. If it's a cow, they mow the same, okay? So when a cow mows, we usually animal because of pain, because of hunger or what. But a human being akiongea na wewe, because one thing about human communication, there is emotions involved. So when somebody speaks, utajua this person is speaking out of pain. This person is speaking out of anger. This person is happy or something like that. So language acquisition for that PL 0271, we just look at that one, how a language is acquired, how a language is learned. Because learning at L2, most of the time utaambiwa can French unaisoma for 6 months. Okay? For only 6 months. But acquiring a language, a child that acquire a language maybe from 1 year to almost 5 years before kuja aanze kuongea vizuri. So that means L1 is we are usually very fluent because of the time that we have been given. Na hii learning a language inakuanga because the classroom. Umeambiwa you learn for only 3 hours per day. Okay? So for those 3 hours, whatever the teacher amefunza, ndio unafaa ku practice, unafaa ku like all those. Lakini language learning, the child will speak with the brothers, with what, so an acquire, so they get more time. Okay, they get more time. So for language acquisition, we'll just center ourselves on the ones that nimewaambia, hizo za language learning, language acquisition, hizo hypothesis, how a child acquires a language, and of course this critical period tutakuja kurudia hapa pia, where we say that at that moment critical period ikipitwa, what happens to that child? The critical period imepita na hajapata any input, what do we do? Okay, yeah, because for the monitor hypothesis we say language there must be input. So the amount of input you get, it is the amount of output that you will get. So unless we have any questions or whatever, but for the notes, I will send a course outline of what you're supposed to cover plus the notes. Unless we have maybe a question or whatever, or maybe something that you think maybe is just but you think it's supposed to be covered.
So for when the animals were taught language and they were not able to communicate, what was the solution to that?
Okay, one of them coming at that chimpanzee, walisema like their knee vocal because they were very heavy to an extent that haezi akanini aka produce words. So ndio wakasema human language is very specific. It must be learned by a human being. Okay? Yeah, it must be learned by a human being. So haiwezi like hata tukafanya nini hawa wanyama unless okay, like for those wanasemanga parrots they speak. Parrots they just imitate. Okay? They don't speak, they imitate. But for a human being doesn't imitate. A human being speaks. Okay? Yeah, you will go there upate mtu from your tribe, you switch to your tribe, unaongea, okay? You meet someone else, si wa tribe yako, you switch to English, you switch to Kiswahili, okay? But animals now, like that parrot, you just imitate to whatever the person is doing or the person is not doing evil to. Yeah. So the conclusion was that human language is specifically for humans. Yeah. Because for other animals like bees wanagoanga they use smell. Okay? They use smell to communicate. Something like that. So through the smell they know huyu amefanya hivyo, something like that. Yeah. But basically the two units, okay, for this 0173, you will find a lot of things zinafanana na what we learned in first year. Okay? So tunajua itakuwa very new ni for our wanafanya language acquisition. It will have a lot of new things, the language acquisition. Yeah. So maybe once nimewapea hizo notes, so ndio mtazisoma. Then if you agree that you are maybe comfortable, you want to be assignment. Because okay, if I give you assignment sahi, najua if you give like ukipatia mwanafunzi maswali na notes, you will just go where the questions are, hivyo tu wasome hivyo, okay? But if you give the notes wasome, then they know that okay, for now we are comfortable, so we can at least attempt some. So I will give the notes first, then we communicate with the class rep. Later, mkiwa comfortable, umepata notes, mmesoma vizuri, now we do I give you the assignment.
Can you find some day next week to meet once before we leave?
Next week, maybe on Monday.
Monday is fixed.
Monday is fixed. So some of us live very far, so we are planning to kuhepa huku 20 Christmas before jams zianze.
That Tuesday?
Maybe you can say that's Tuesday. Because
I'll just be on Tuesday, and I'll let you.
Yeah, you can meet on Tuesday,
So that
morning
you can come with
hours.
the notes.
Yeah.
For the assignment.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, but I will not into a pair. I know all of us got smartphones, so not into a pair soft copy. Yeah. So we meet on Tuesday because I think from Wednesday time kama nitakuwa. So we meet on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday. Yeah. So on Tuesday, then on Tuesday, I will prepare the course outline ya each yote sasa. Yeah, then I give you the course outline, you can photocopy. Then now I give you the notes. So you just choose the morning hours. Choose the morning hours and meeting, because I'm going to just meet to either room 8 or here.
You want morning?
Mm.
Same 8 mpaka 10. Morning hour.
Not very morning. Mm.
9.
Eh?
9 mpaka 11.
Yeah, let's say 9 to 11. Yeah. So we meet 9 to 11. Give you the course outline and give you the notes for both the two units, that is 0173 and the how again wapatia haya 0271. So the rest of you walitoka
After quitting, hawa watatu out of 8 wanakuja.
or 3.
Itakuwa 8 final. Sasa hata hii assignment na notes I'll send to the 3 for Sally, Umwani na Mkanda.
But the university you have, the general class was almost 20.
Tulikuwa 22.
Yeah, 22.
Watu waliquit. Hata hii kuna wenye karibu waquit. We were to open on 30 kadile. Sasa tumefungua 30. You just be patient.
Okay, then we meet on that day, give you the notes for both.